When to step in. Responding to parental alienation in high-conflict divorces. Parental alienation can creep in quietly like mold in the corner of a bathroom, and before anyone realizes it, a child may begin rejecting, distrusting, or fearing a parent without a legitimate reason. In high-conflict divorces, this isn't just unfortunate. It's potentially harmful. So how do professionals determine when it's time to intervene, and how far should those interventions go? Recognizing the red flags. Alienation rarely begins with a bang. It might start with subtle comments, discouraging visits, or emotional pressure. Children may adopt the language or narrative of one parent. Dad never cared about us. Mom is dangerous, without first-hand evidence. Over time, the alienated parent becomes a stranger in their own child's story. Early recognition is key because the longer alienation continues, the harder it becomes to undo. When is action necessary? Intervention becomes necessary when three conditions emerge. 1. Persistent rejection of a parent without credible cause. 2. Evidence of psychological manipulation or coaching. 3. Decline in the child's emotional or behavioral well-being. Professionals must differentiate alienation from justified estrangement. Not every refusal to visit a parent is alienation. Sometimes a parent truly behaved badly, and the child's resistance is self-protective. That distinction matters deeply for ethical intervention. Do children need to be removed from the home? In extreme cases, courts have temporarily placed children outside the alienating household, often with neutral relatives or therapeutic foster care, when the alienation is severe, escalating, and not responsive to lesser measures. This isn't common, and it's not the first step. Removal is considered when staying in the current environment would further erode the child's emotional health or permanently sever their bond with the other parent. Should parental rights be terminated? Stripping parental rights is the nuclear button. It's typically reserved for cases involving abuse, abandonment, or chronic endangerment, not merely alienation. However, some jurisdictions have begun recognizing severe, willful alienation as psychological abuse. Even then, courts prefer corrective and therapeutic measures before considering termination. What needs to be investigated? A competent investigation must look beyond accusations and into the family system. This may include independent psychological evaluations of both parents and the child, review of communication patterns, texts, emails, visit logs, observations of parent-child interactions, interviews with teachers, therapists, and extended family, consideration of past domestic violence, mental health, substance abuse, or trauma. The aim isn't to punish a parent, but to protect the child's emotional development and secure healthy attachments where possible. The bottom line: parental alienation is painful, complex, and not a DIY project. Courts and clinicians must balance caution with urgency. The goal is restoring the child's capacity to love and be loved by both parents without dragging them through unnecessary harm. When adults act wisely and promptly, kids stand a better chance of growing into whole, resilient human beings instead of casualties of a war they never enlisted in.